Go.
I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and now I'm all out of bubblegum.
We're here today with an exclusive sneak peek interview with the cast of Counterpoint.
Let's do it.
I'm here now with Director Cooper Bridges. So brief me real quick. What was the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan really all about?
Well, it was a conflict lasting about 10 years involving the Soviet support of the Marxist government that currently held place in the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan. The Mujahideen, which literally means struggler, were the Islamic freedom fighters who were initially opposed to Soviet intervention in Afghanistan. The Mujahideen founded support from other outside countries, including the United States, UK, and several other Muslim countries. Increased aggressions followed the race to spread communism by the Soviets in the United States' role to stop it.
Interesting. So with all this said, is this movie really historically accurate?
Well, some aspects of it are, but it's mainly for the viewer's entertainment. I mean, it's not a documentary.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back after a quick commercial break with small-time Bollywood actor Mashfiq Khan.
Fit for life. Fit for life.
So up next is my main man Mashfiq Khan. My main man Mashfiq, tell me about the Soviet deployment that sparked the Soviet insurrection in Afghanistan.
Alright.
Well, basically what happened was the Afghan government secured a treaty in December 1978 which allowed them to call on Soviet forces, which repeatedly requested the introduction of troops in Afghanistan. In the year of 1979, in July, the Afghan government requested that two motorized rifle divisions be sent to Afghanistan. During the 1970s, the Soviet Union reached the peak of its political influence in comparison to the U.S. as the SALT-I Treaty was created to cooperate in matters of nuclear weapons and technology between the two nations. The anti-communist rebels garnered support from the United States, which was under the control of President Jimmy Carter, who signed an executive order authorizing the CIA to conduct covert propaganda operations against the communist regime. Large numbers of Soviet airborne forces joined stationed ground troops and began to land in Kabul on December 25th. On December 27th, 1979, 700 Soviet troops dressed in Afghan uniforms occupied major governmental, military, and media buildings in Kabul, such as the Tajped, and all the intel. Soviet force was around 1,800 tanks, 80,000 soldiers, and 2,000 armed fighting vehicles. With the arrival of the two later divisions, the total Soviet force rose to the 100,000 personnel.
Wow, and all of that happened in about 2 weeks?
Yes, only 2 weeks.
Well, all this is very interesting, but we have to take a quick commercial break and come right back with the world-famous actor, Edward Butt.
Q120 pull-up bar. Get slow!
Let's go.
Welcome, Mr. Butt. So, Mr. Butt, tell me a little about the exit strategy that the Russians use in Afghanistan.
Alright, the first step of the exit strategy dealt with transferring the burden of fighting the Mujahideen to the Afghan armed forces, with the goal of trying to get them to operate without help from the Soviets. One of the Soviets' main goals was to support the DRA's forces by providing military support. The DRA was divided into different branches. The Ministry of Defense numbered roughly 132,000 and the Minister of Interior 70,000. The Army suffered roughly 32,000 per year. The decision to engage primarily Afghan forces was taken by the Soviets, but was resented by the PDPA. In May 1987, a DRA force attacked well-prepared Mujahideen positions in the Aurangabad district, but the Mujahideen held their positions and the attackers suffered greatly. During the spring of 1986, the Mujahideen benefited from expanded foreign military support from the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and other Muslim nations. The U.S. tended to favor the Afghan resistance forces led by Ahmed Shah Massoud, and U.S. support for Massoud's forces increased considerably during the Reagan administration. The U.S. military forces called this Operation Cyclone. Advocates that supported Massoud were two heritage foundations, foreign policy analysts Michael Jones and James A. Phillips.
I'm sorry, Mr. Butt, but we're all out of time, so I'm going to have to cut you off. See you all next time when we interview the actors of Tron next week on Pitch the Stew.